When combined with watchfulness and deep understanding, the Jesus prayer will erase from our heart even those thoughts rooted against our will. When under the pressure of stupid thoughts, we will find relief and joy by rebuking ourselves truthfully and unemotionally, or by confessing everything to the Lord as to a human being. In both these ways we will always find tranquility, whatever troubles us. The fathers regard Moses the lawgiver as an icon of the intellect. He saw God in the burning bush, Exodus chapter 3, verses 2 through 4. His face shone with glory, Exodus chapter 34, verse 30. He was made a god to Pharaoh by the God of gods, Exodus chapter 7, verse 1. He flayed Egypt with a scourge. He led Israel out of bondage, and gave laws. These happenings, when seen metaphorically and spiritually, are activities and privileges of the intellect. Aaron, the brother of Moses, is an icon of the outer self. On this account, we too should bring angry accusations against our outer self, as Moses did against Aaron when he sinned. In what way did Israel do you wrong, that you should hasten to turn them from the Lord, the living God and ruler of all? Exodus chapter 32, verse 21. Among many other good things the Lord showed us, when he was about to raise Lazarus from the dead, John chapter 11, verse 33, that we should reject the angry indignation of all that is womanish and unstable in our soul. We should strive after firmness of character, for this is able to free our self-reproach from arrogance, pride, and self-love. Just as it is impossible to cross the sea without a boat, so it is impossible to repulse the provocation of an evil thought without invoking Jesus Christ. Rebuttal bridles evil thoughts, but the invocation of Jesus Christ drives them from the heart. Now, when the provocation has taken the form of a mental image of a sensory object, the evil thought behind it can be identified. For instance, if the image is of the face of someone who has angered us, or of a beautiful woman, or of gold or silver, it can at once be shown that it is the thought of rancor, or of unchastity, or of avarice that fills our heart with fantasies. And if our intellect is experienced, well trained, and used to guarding itself and to examining clearly and openly the seductive fantasies and deceits of the demons, it will instantly quench the fiery darts of the devil. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 16, counterattacking by means of its power of rebuttal and the Jesus prayer. It will not allow the impassioned fantasy to consort with it, or allow our thoughts passionately to conform themselves to the fantasy, or to become intimate with it, or be distracted by it, or give assent to it. If anything like this happens, then evil actions will follow as surely as night follows day. If our intellect is inexperienced in the art of watchfulness, it at once begins to entertain whatever impassioned fantasy appears in it, and plies it with illicit questions, and responds to it illicitly. Then our own thoughts are conjoined to the demonic fantasy, which waxes and burgeons until it appears lovely and delectable, and to the welcoming and despoiled intellect. The intellect then is deceived in much the same way as lambs when a stray dog comes into the field in which they happen to be. In their innocence, they often run towards the dog, as though it were their mother, and their only profit in coming near it is that they pick up something of its stench and foulness. In the same way, our thoughts run ignorantly after demonic fantasies that appear in our intellect, and, as I said, The two join together, and one can see them plotting to destroy the city of Troy, like Agamemnon and Menelaus. For they plot together the course of action they must take in order to bring about, in practice and by means of the body, that purpose which the demons have persuaded them is sweet and delectable. In this way sins are produced in the soul, and hence the need to bring out into the open what is in our hearts. The intellect, being good-natured and innocent, readily goes in pursuit of lawless fantasies, and it can be restrained only on condition that its intelligence, the ruler of the passions, always bridles it and holds it back. Contemplation and spiritual knowledge are indeed the guides and agents of the ascetic life, for when the mind is raised up by them it becomes indifferent to sensual pleasures and to other material attractions, regarding them as worthless. The life of attentiveness, brought to fruition in Christ Jesus, is the father of contemplation and spiritual knowledge. Linked to humility, it engenders divine exaltation and thoughts of the wisest kind. As the prophet Isaiah says, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings and soar aloft through the power of the Lord." Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31.